The BlokeBusters podcast is proud to be a member of the Pod Bros Network. You can find us, as well as other fantastic podcasts such as Pencil and Ink Review, Another Damn Trivia Show, and The Language of Bromance at podbros.com, as well as on most other fine podcasting services. Now sit back, relax, and prepare to share and enjoy the BlokeBusters podcast.
Welcome to episode 72 of the BlokeBusters podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
Today we will be discussing Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes, we will.
But before that, let's get through a little bit of housekeeping, Paul.
Yes. Do follow us on Twitter at BlokeBusters, Facebook.com/BlokeBusters. We are a little lax actually keeping up to date with that, but I do remember every now and again. We do have an Instagram, just cause. I need to update that as well. Obviously, BlokeBusters there. You can email us, blokebusterpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a website, blokebusters.webs.com. And, as always, please do rate, review,
like, subscribe.
Tell all your friends. I don't care what you tell them, just tell all your friends. And... just help get the word out, because we really appreciate it if you could.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's dive into this, shall we? It was directed by Roland Emmerich, and in case you didn't know what he directed, here's a little sampling. He has also directed Independence Day, Godzilla, Day After Tomorrow, 2012... And
I'm sensing a theme, Paul.
And White House Down. Yes, he appears to enjoy destruction in all.
Oh, really? I was totally thinking rom-coms. I guess I was way off the mark.
Well, there's normally a little romantic comedy in those, but yeah. So he's well known for disasters, as it were.
Whether you view that as the content or the release.
Yes. I decided to leave it ambiguous there.
Okay.
So a budget of $165 million went into this one, and the box office as of, what is this, a week and a half after?
I think it's been out 9-10 days.
Alright, this is worldwide, $266,515,769, and in the US, $80 million. So it is considered a box office bomb, even though it has made up more than its money. Just because it didn't do well in the American market, it's considered
weekend,
a bomb.
$41 million in the US, which is, you can get a decent comedy or drama to pull that in a weekend.
Yes,
so.
I'm fairly certain Deadpool blew that one out of the water.
Yeah. I wouldn't include Deadpool in that, but
anywho. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, Deadpool, definitely crushed it. So, to dive in here.
Alright, so why don't we look to our favourite website to tell us what this film is about?
Because we have no idea.
All right. Yeah. It's a little too confusing for me.
Yes. 2 decades after the first Independence Day invasion, Earth is faced with a new extrasolar threat, but will mankind's new space defenses be enough? Horrible logline.
I also take issue with one word in that, which is...
Solar?
The word new.
No, new space defenses?
No, a new extrasolar threat.
Okay.
It's the same people.
The same species, yes. Yeah.
The exact same species. It's just the boss has come down now.
Well, maybe the new applies to the threat. A new extrasolar... The threat is new. The species is not.
I guess.
We're splitting hairs on this totally inconsequential paragraph.
It's the same threat, but it's a different wave. So I suppose it's round 2, as it were.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to bother going into the entire cast list because we don't have time. But here we go. People who are coming back from the first one. Jeff Goldblum as David Levinson, Bill Pullman as Thomas J. Whitmore, Judd Hirsch as Julius Levinson, Vivica A. Fox as Jasmine Dunbrow.
Spoilers falling mom.
Yes. And now the new people that are in it as well. You got Liam Neeson as the main guy.
Hemsworth, not Neeson.
Sorry, yes. That would have been better.
That would have been better.
Way better.
It's not as bad as my Edgar Wright snafu, but that's a good one, Paul.
Yes. Well, side tangent.
There's only one Liam to Paul, and that is Liam Neeson.
Well, that's the thing. So, little side tangent here. I watched the first episode of Peaky Blinders last night, and I sent a text to Brian saying, "Why didn't you tell me that Sam Neill is doing a Liam Neeson impression?"
Because it's too great to just spoil that. Yeah.
The second he started talking, I was just like, "That did they get Liam Neeson to dub the voice here?"
Yeah.
All right. So, yes,
all right. So
Liam Hemsworth as the main guy, and the only reason I wrote this down is because it's just a fantastic thing of people not being able to want non-English names on the list. You got Angela Baby playing Rain Lau. Now, that is her stage name, which is a combination of her English name, Angela, and her nickname, Baby. Her name is actually
Angela
Yang Ying. However, if you're going to translate that into an English-thinking world, her name is Yin Yang. Because Yang...
Is everyone still following?
I think Yang is her last name, so... And in that side of the world, the last name comes first when you're saying the name.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right. Now that we have everyone cross-eyed and confused, yeah.
Okay. So, where do we start?
Please don't sock me here, but Paul, do you see what happens when you leave the EU? It's nothing good.
Okay.
I'm just extending this as a consequence of that action. So, this is where we're headed.
Somehow the ripples of that effect went back into the production of this thing.
Yes, absolutely. All right, sorry, I had to get that in there.
That's
yeah. I don't know. What do you want to go with? General thoughts here?
Well, I think the thing that most people should really focus on to start with is obviously this felt to me a little bit like the changing of the guard, especially with what happened to some of the people that came back.
Yes, as always, this is always a spoiler cast. So if this is your first time listening and you have not seen the film, you would like to, please see it first. And then come listen. Yes, because we discuss everything.
Yes,
yeah.
So yes, you have Vivica A. Fox as the mother of one of the main people in this, and she's on screen for 40 seconds?
2 scenes, I think.
Yeah, she's not on screen very long, and they then promptly kill her off because
as they do with almost all of the veteran characters.
Yes, I think there are only 3 people that were in the original film that are still alive at the end of this one. And that would be both of the Levinsons and the scientist.
Crazy scientist, long-haired, white-haired dude. Yeah.
Yes, and completely random, they just decided that he was gay, I guess. That was the feeling I got.
Did they? I don't know. I didn't read that much into it.
Well, it was either that or JD and Turk level of friendship.
That's kind of, I just assumed, they're really good buds. I
mean, it doesn't really matter. It was just something.
No, it does not matter at all. But
it was just something that they threw in there. It was like, oh, okay.
To quote Seinfeld, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Who cares? Well, some people care, but we don't.
No, absolutely not. But I didn't pick up on that if that's the case. But good for them if that was.
Yeah,
I mean, sad for him if that was.
So yes, this film, it felt very much to me like they were trying to think of a way to bring the children of today into watching the same film as last time.
It was so reminiscent of the hits that Lost World went through.
Yeah.
As far as that, trying to to pull in the old and the new audience.
It's the problem with this one. I thought was it was a relatively well written film. But given what the source material was, no matter how well you write the sequel, there's not really much there.
Without Will Smith.
Yeah.
He's the key to this. I mean, he's the action star. He's what started July 4th weekend, really, as like that big money weekend.
Yeah,
and
I had to say,
without him,
I had a bit of a revelation around about halfway through the film when they were, and we are jumping around all the way here, but when they were stuck on the alien spaceship and Liam Hemsworth starts urinating while flipping off the guy. That Liam is the Will Smith character from the previous film, and the guy who's playing
his
Will
son,
Smith's son
is Bishop.
is kind of, but also kind of like Jeff Goldblum, as it were. Like when they were together, Jeff Goldblum was very like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. And
Will
Smith
he's more
was
Goldblum. Yeah, his buddy is more Bishop. Yeah.
A bishop that was allowed to live this time.
Yes.
It's kind of. I'm having trouble thinking of where exactly to start with this thing because it's.
I had issues from the very beginning with the voiceover calling the differences between countries petty differences. Did you catch on that?
I did.
We were able to put aside our petty. There's some pretty big fucking differences. Religion, territory.
Palestine and Israel.
They're petty. What's that being so petty? So they stole your lawnmower. Get over it, okay? I was like, what? Petty?
I kind of like to think that the Palestine-Israel conflict is actually about that, but it's been lost to the sands of time.
It was like push more that Homer never returned to Ned Flanders.
It started exactly at the border, and then it just spread outwards.
Yes, pick a side. Well, I guess I just want to say, I don't know, I was coming to this a little wondering if we would have completely different takes on this, because I don't really, I don't know. I guess I'll just be transparent and say I thought you were going to enjoy it a lot more than I did.
I can tell you right now, I did.
Oh, okay.
The problem that I have with it is, like, I have two very different hats on right now. I have the hat that I was wearing when I went to see the film, which was I went to see it expecting Independence Day 2, and that's exactly what I got. Like, I was expecting a updated action sequel to the incredibly cheesy Independence Day from the mid-90s, and that's what we've got. And then I've got my critical hat on, which is saying this film, critically speaking, is not good.
It's not very good, no.
So I'm able to jump both ways. So I'll probably be playing devil's advocate.
I'm fighting, both sides here, but it just hit every single beat that the original hit.
Yes, it did.
And there were no shocks. Like, the plan. Like, sorry to be jumping around here, but the idea of using their own technology or using their own gambit against them. Yeah. Ooh, let's turn it on. Let's use the satellites against them. Okay, cut to let's use the bait against them. Never would work. The shields are down. Let's fire. That's another. There's countless others. Yeah. Them infiltrating the alien ship, one of the big motherships or whatever. Gathering around the radio scene. Yeah. And the big sacrifice by a main character, Randy Quaid, and then Whitmore here, President Whitmore. It goes on and on and on. Yep. As to every single hit that it takes.
It wasn't a surprise at all to me that that's the way they went.
You think you've won? Oh, wait, you haven't. There's still a little bit more to go.
Yeah, that was the only big difference. Is that they had more. Have we won? Not yet.
Not quite.
And it's like, have we lost? Not yet.
But from the second they come up with the plan in this movie to use the bait of this very advanced life form or whatever, kind of thinking of Futurama with the mist. Sort of. There where Layla goes on a date, or Leela goes on... Leela?
Yeah, Leela.
Goes on a date with... at the whatever bar.
Yes, the incredibly nerdy, gaseous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the whole time. But so once that plan was devised, I'm like, the movie is pretty much over. Like, for me,
right?
Everything. Okay, they're gonna be fine. So
it's going to work, and then it isn't, and then it will. Like that's like
once that plan's devised. Okay, that plan's going to work, and then might be a hiccup, but then they'll get it. Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say, and again, looking at it critically, I feel that this film had one too many comic relief characters.
Okay.
Because you had the UN guy.
Remind me of who he was again?
He's the guy that you first see him in the car trying to talk to Jeff Goldblum about these papers. And he ended up being the guy who was next to the warlord at the end. The guy who wanted the sword. Like he wanted
okay. So I called him Nerd Boy.
Nerd Boy, there you go.
Because I said, my note was Rebel Warlord and Nerd Boy dynamic did not work for me. Yeah. Which will be a series on Netflix, I think. I hope. Rebel Warlord and Nerd Boy.
Probably would do better than, was it Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Yeah.
Or is it? Or the other way. I don't care. I didn't watch it.
Either do I. His lines never flew for me. No. I don't know.
No, I mean, he was the one that I think was one too many.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was put in there for the younger audience, because all of his jokes, or seemingly supposed to be jokes, were rather just basic and infantile.
Well, the entire point of his character is he's out of his depth. That was it.
That's it. We got it. We got that in one scene. And then we don't need to hit that.
And even at the end, when he's able to shoot the gun and do that, like, he doesn't really do much. There's no real redemption other than the warlord guy turning to him and saying, "You have the heart of a warrior," or the soul of a warrior, or whatever the line was.
Which I don't believe that character would ever say that to him.
No, unless he was just trying to be nice. Like, it's just...
Was it in that character to just be nice? I don't know.
Well, maybe. He said to be better than his father ever was.
Yeah.
So, which was very odd. I mean, that whole subplot was just weird.
Yeah, it was a little too much. It felt so tagged on that. Yeah.
The only reason it existed was because they put the old spaceship that apparently was the only one that ever landed, that they never bothered showing at all in the first film. And yeah, so it's like, okay, now we need a hurdle to them being able to get inside quickly. That was about it.
That was pretty much, all I could get from it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that, and they wanted to combine the two elements of, we need to stop them getting there too quick and have someone else that somehow has been connected with the minds of the alien, even though you never saw how.
Yeah, it's just, I never quite understood that.
Yeah, and it seemed to me that every person that was directly connected to the alien but didn't die in the first film
has very bad migraines.
Yes.
Needs some Excedrin migraine.
Yeah, pretty much. Although, again, that being said, I don't believe that Whitmore... Oh, no, yeah, he was.
He had a couple of spells.
Yeah, they sort of put something in his head before killing that one alien. And, so he had stuff. And then it just seemed that all of these people that were near the ship had that. And why didn't they show even a little bit, maybe even fake film footage of that country fighting the aliens that they say took 10 years?
A little bit of that background would be nice, I bet.
And I guess I don't get it. Why would it have taken 10 years to kill off the aliens, given that what I imagine would have happened once all of the other spaceships have been destroyed, is that everyone would descend on this final ship.
Yeah, should have taken 10 minutes, not 10 years.
It's like, oh, there's still aliens on the planet? Well, they seem to be doing alright. We'll leave them to it.
Yeah, okay. It's a very good point. I didn't think about that at the time, but you're right. It should not have taken 10 years. That's some very sloppy alien cleanup.
Yes, very much so. So there was that. And then the other comic relief being Liam Hemsworth, buddy, or co-pilot, or however you want to call him. And I didn't mind him, as it were, mainly because if this was any other film, Liam Hemsworth would have been the comic relief to this guy. Like, it just seems the dynamic wasn't quite right, as it were. It seems as though the film was focused too much on the wrong person, only because the president's daughter had gotten engaged to him instead of the other guy. It's like...
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth in this feels like the quirky best friend in a normal film. And in this one, he's a lead.
Yeah, it was a very muddled lead role.
Again, too many lead roles.
Well, I think once Will Smith was out or never in or whatever, once that wasn't an option, I mean, because who is carrying this movie? Is it Goldblum? Is it Hemsworth? Is it Hiller, son? You know? Usher?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You've got too many people in this.
I'm totally fine with ensemble pieces, but this didn't feel like an ensemble cast. It felt like too many people were fighting for the head of this movie.
Well, jumping back to the first film then, let's say. So, there were very clear several people who were like, these are where the plot is centered around. You had Will Smith's character, you have Jeff Goldblum's character, you have the president, and then the scientist guy was in it for a little bit. Yeah. And then in this one, you have Hemsworth, you have the president, you have the president's daughter, you have Will Smith's son, you have Hemsworth's friend who shares screen time with him a fair amount. Then you have Goldblum again.
Yeah.
Then you have
Warlord.
Then you have the Warlord. Then you have Judd Hirsch.
Yep.
And it's trying to, and then you also have the alien side of things every now and again. So you had about 7 or 8 plot threads that you kept trying to jump to in a film that was an hour and 45 minutes.
Well, I think it's a runtime of 2 hours. Yeah.
Was it 2 hours? Yeah. So yeah, it was too muddled. They were trying to show too many sides to this.
Yeah.
I think if you'd have cut out, not entirely, but cut out the Warlord pretty much.
Oh, I could have gone completely without that story.
I mean, I can understand why he was there to begin with, but don't have him come with. Just cut him off.
He's baggage for the rest of the movie. Yeah.
And then also, leave the UN guy with them or something. Like, maybe you would see them fight some ground troops after the aliens come back. Yeah. Or something like that. So you're not stuck with him for the rest of the time. And then the scientist guy, I actually kind of enjoyed seeing him and seeing more from him, because he was one of the better...
Well, he's a fun character. I don't mind. I didn't mind him at all.
Yeah, so
it's a good performance. Yeah, I didn't mind him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he was used in relative moderation.
Yeah,
I think that was the important side of it. And then Will Smith's son, I never felt like he earned it.
No, I mean, it felt like, even though he had, I know, quite a few scenes, it didn't feel like he was in this movie much for him to be the character he was.
No, he wasn't. And the weirdest thing about it is, they even sort of mention in the film, I think it was Liam Hemsworth's buddies, and I now feel bad for not writing his name down, but I genuinely don't remember what it is. It was him that mentions it was never going to be Hemsworth flying that front plane, being that, because obviously the way the world works is that the son of the guy that killed the main aliens, that's the one who's going to be the lead in this Monument Day, or whatever, New Independence Day.
Yeah. What did you think of the when Liam Hemsworth's character is watching the very bad video of this accident we've already heard mentioned 4 times? One, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you. I didn't feel like we needed to see that. We'd already heard about what happened. Enough of what happened, we get the idea. It's a little bit of that movie trope of hitting us over the head to make sure we totally get what happened. And then the performances within that video seem so bad. Oh no, we're going now. Blah, blah.
I honestly thought that the guy who was playing Will Smith's son was imitating Will Smith during that, because there was one point where it sounded like Will Smith saying it. And I was like, did they get him to record that one line just so there would be similarity?
And why does he have this video on his phone? What kind of sick bastard does he keep this on it? I would want to forget that.
I
would not be sitting down to watch how I almost killed one of my classmates, comrades, whatever you want to call it, friend at the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, like you said, it's the unfortunate Hollywood trope of, just in case you didn't fully understand what we were saying, here it is.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the audience did know what it was you were saying. We got it. I would have enjoyed not seeing it, because then you can always imagine something better in your head than
exactly for situations like that. Yeah, okay, he fucked him over. He's pissed off. I got it.
Yeah. I mean, for a moment, I thought what might be happening, even though they'd already explained how Will Smith's character died, I thought we were going to be seeing that his accident caused the death of his father. And then that would be why he never forgave him.
That would be incredibly more intriguing.
Yes. But no, it was... I mean, I sort of enjoyed how they handled it, where they explained that he died during a test flight of this new technology, because, of course, Will Smith's character would have been the test pilot for the new technology.
Yeah, and spoilers for Top Gun, thank you for borrowing that from Top Gun, where, Goose is killed in a training mission, essentially. Yeah.
Because, that's just how it works.
That's how it works. I do want to get to some things I liked, but before that, oh my god, I can't go into all the plot holes, because with 7 or 8 story threads, the plot holes are just innumerable. Yes. There are characters, I know we were just talking about another movie, but there are characters that seem to magically transport themselves from one area to the next in record amounts of time. I don't know.
There
was some very wish-washy geography going on.
Yes. However, they do have the new technology which can transport people very quickly. So, assuming they had access to said technology, that could have been the case. However, I'm assuming you're referring to the fact that it's from were they on the West Coast when the crash, and then they got to Nevada really, really quickly, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple other things. And it's another thing that when the kids are driving in the car, why was not everyone trying to get into that one lane of traffic that is wide open? Yep. We can go 50 miles an hour, but no, let's just stay in a gridlock traffic over here.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe most of them were out of petrol. I don't know.
And they're just looking over at the traffic moving those bastards. Yeah. Hey, look, guys, lane open. Go over there.
You still got some miles in your car. Just sharp left. There we go.
Look, now you don't even have to drive in the dirt. It's still the road. Yeah. Also, what would never happen? Why is the president and the cabinet not in their secure bunker? They're going to be on the decision-making floor because she can't do that from a bunker.
They technically are.
And you're not going to have all the... That's why that line of succession is in place, so not all the same important people are in the same place at the same time.
That was kind of interesting. It was almost a King Ralph level
yes.
thing. For those of you that haven't seen King Ralph...
Fichtner being the King Ralph in this scenario.
King Ralph, for those of you that have no idea
it's
what
a classic. Go see it.
Classic John Goodman film.
It. Yeah, like it's anywhere. See it in your home.
Where I think 60-something, if not more, people who are direct in line to the throne are killed in one freak accident while trying to have a photograph taken, and therefore this American guy, played by John Goodman, becomes the king. That's the entire point of that film. But yes,
his best performance prior to 10 Cloverfield Lane, I would argue.
Oh yes, so much so.
Absolutely.
I mean, I might fight you with the Flintstones live action there. But,
okay. Touche.
But yes, it was very, very strange. However, in regard to you saying why wasn't she in a bunker, they were underground at Cheyenne Mountain, which is...
With the aliens!
Yes.
Get away from the aliens. The aliens are attacking, Madam President.
Wait. No.
Was it?
That's not where the aliens are. The aliens are in Nevada.
See, that's why I was so confused, because it seemed like, was she not there at one point?
I don't know.
I felt like she was totally there.
She might have been at some point, but when they were in that room conferencing with everyone, they were in Cheyenne Mountain. Okay. Behind several blast doors, which were very easy to get through, apparently, and very easy to open. Okay.
So they knew right where...
Did the alien grow a human hand to open that door? I swear it was an alien-skinned four finger and a thumb hand placed onto that hand scanner that opened the door.
Maybe he had ripped off a hand of a henchman on the way down the hall and just put it up there.
Maybe. Although, again,
and then used it.
Again, if you're the president and everyone in line to the president in a giant bunker meant to be incredibly secure, why would there be a touchpad outside it for you to open?
Yeah. See, yeah, that whole thing just did not make any sense. Like, she would be miles underground. I don't know. But... whatever, you got to have a generic general guy become the president.
Yes, they didn't watch Olympus Has Fallen, clearly.
No, they did not.
And anyway, like I said before we started this, after we started this, I did enjoy sitting down watching this film. I am right now ripping it apart critically.
Yes.
But I was able to just kind of enjoy it for what it was. So why don't we slip into, as you were saying, some of the things you enjoyed about this.
I do need to come back to a couple of bad, but alright, we can get into the good again.
We can finish out with bad as well.
So the parts I did enjoy, I know obviously, yes, you did enjoy this more than me. I thought this was average fare, even for what it was supposed to be.
Right. Fair enough.
There's a lot of issues. But what I did, Goldblum. That's all I need to say is Goldblum. You can put him in anything, and it's better.
Yeah, he seemed to have lost a fair amount of his stutter for this one.
He did, yeah. He wasn't as Jeff Goldblummy in this, or Bloomy. But the Levinsons are hilarious. Like, that was the comedy relief for me in this movie. Was him and the dad, of course.
Well, I enjoyed the fact that they had both of them saying the exact same line. Mm-hmm. When obviously you had the trailer moment of Jeff Goldblum saying that is definitely bigger than the last one. And then when you have Judd Hirsch trying to get away as quick as he can in his boat, he says that exact line on the phone to his son. I was like, okay, I like that.
They were very well written and just good performances by both of them. I enjoyed President Whitmore for the most part. What was the cane for? Because he seemed to need the cane, and that night, and then not need the cane, and then I can leave the cane hanging, and then I'm gonna.
I think in general it was just an aid to walk. I don't think it's
a cane.
I don't think its leg was as bad as say House. I don't think it was that bad.
Yes, he didn't have House leg. Okay,
but yes, it was definitely something there that if he was working hard, he could overcome, as it were.
But I think he had a nice little arc of being crazy old man to savior.
And of course he gave another speech.
Yes, of course.
Because he had to give another speech.
Because everyone's going to get motivated by the president that lost his freaking mind when the aliens attacked 20 years ago.
Yeah, and that is one thing. It doesn't seem like there was a point where they say that he was kicked out or anything like that. I think he served the full probably 2 terms, and then later in life just started getting senile, I guess. They never fully explained what was going on there.
But he's pretty able to get out of that senility pretty quickly. Yeah. He can become pretty coherent. And so this man was off his rocker, and then you're going to trust him with the biggest task of this plan.
And it seems like he wasn't actually senile. He was just getting all of these visions and wasn't able to understand.
He was just lazy. He wanted to pretend. He just liked being waited on hand and foot.
Once you've been the president,
you still get. I know you still get the Secret Service detail, but you
don't get this. You don't get the Secret Service nanny detail though. That's what he wanted.
No, so you just I'll just grow a great big bushy beard.
He wanted the Mr. Burns treatment, where he just has a Smithers to wait on him.
Become a little Howard Hughes-esque, and just pee in his jars and sit there.
I said, hop in.
Yes.
That was an incredible reference to one episode of The Simpsons.
It was, because there's only been a few, so in their 24-some years. Do you want to hit one of the good points? I got more, the things I liked.
I'm trying to think of some of the bits in it that are genuinely good, and I will say that despite knowing exactly where it was going. From the moment that the alien queen comes out of the rubble to the moment where it dies, I found entertaining. Like, I found watching the alien queen, because it was different. It was different. I know that it was the same alien.
Yeah.
But it was different. You had the giant queen, and I do like that for a bit of time you weren't 100% sure of the exact scale, and then they used her chasing the bus or her chasing something else. And then you also have the weird spiral of people, and then them getting out of that is different from anything in the first film. So I thought that was well done, even though it was telegraphed how everything was going to happen. Like,
there was no suspense for me after that, just because I knew how it was going to happen.
I think I would say more of a visual feast than anything else. Like, I wasn't stimulated by the plot. I wasn't, how is this going to go? I was just like, this looks nice. I'm enjoying the big bad fighting. It kind of felt like when in the Godzilla, as in the remake Godzilla, when the weird monsters that weren't Godzilla were fighting near Las Vegas, and you saw the monsters like coming through, and it kind of felt like that to me. Like, it was just a nice.
Not the last time Godzilla will be mentioned. Just a spoiler for what's ahead. But I was part of that was knowing what was going to happen in that. I mean, I think, I guess I can get to this via this thread. The special effects I thought looked amazing. I thought mostly there were a couple sequences that I thought could have been better. Yeah. But I mean, some of the space stuff was a little shoddy. But I think most things looked very, very great. Very well.
I'll agree with you there. I think the issue that they ran into almost certainly is the fact that this film had to be out by Independence Day. Like, that is the main problem when it comes to special effects in films that you have the money for. Obviously, if you don't have much money for special effects and CGI, they're going to look like shit. But when you run into films where loads of it looks great, and then you have some subpar CGI, they ran out of render time. That is it.
Deadline. Yeah, deadline's the only time. But that being said, so I thought the Queen did look good, but part of it being that I knew where it was going, and then two, my science brain got in the way, and like evolutionarily, there's no reason a technologically advanced civilization would need a creature that size, because as we learn, as you evolve, you get to a smaller size. That's why humans are the size they are. We aren't the size of elephants. Well, some of us get close. But you know what I'm saying. Like you get to an ideal size, and it's not this. There's no purpose. I know queens. I know like queen bees are bigger than the drones, and
that must have been what they were going for.
To scale, like it was just. I don't know. I thought it was absurdly large.
Yeah.
But it did look great.
Yeah. I
quite terrifying, I'm sure.
Scale-wise, the only reason it was like that was because they literally needed the big bad guy to be in the film.
Needed the boss fight, yeah.
And I did enjoy that throughout the film, the humans were coming up with these plans and saying, well, these are going to work because they worked last time. And then the aliens were just like, nah, they're not going to work. Are you stupid? And it's true. It's like you're trying to do pretty much the exact same thing as last time and expecting the exact same results against an intelligent enemy. Like, no. Sorry, no. I kind of liked the bit when they're all going in there with the bombs, and then you just got those little mini force field generators that just flew around and attached themselves. Because I originally thought they were going to like rip through the bombs and somehow like detonate them at a safe distance or something along those lines. Like they were going to render them inactive, which would have then left you the option of having them be able to reactivate the bombs later in the film or something, like be able to kind of take out that ship. While we're on the subject of that ship and them getting inside it, how did they get inside it? Wasn't there a force field?
Oh, they flew in through a little hole thing.
Yeah. A hole in the force field. Okay.
Yeah. It was the It was the Death Star ditch. Just the one part the contractor looked over.
I sort of get it because obviously they let them in and all that, but surely the moment that you're like, oh, there's a hole, let's fly into it. Well, we haven't hit a force field, we're inside, alright. It's like, surely red flag. If you're a strategist at all.
This was almost too easy. Oh shit, it was.
Yes. Yeah. I've recently been watching Person of Interest, actually, and I watched the last episode of the 4th season, and there's a point in it when they're like, okay, we're in, we've got this thing. That was too easy. And they're like, oh, there's a reason for that. And he turned around and there's people standing directly behind him. It's like, yeah, this is how everything goes. And
anyone that generally thought like, oh, wow, this is going to work out well, congratulations on watching your first movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This, as I said before, this genuinely could have been a way for modern audiences to have their first Independence Day watch, and then they can go back and watch the original Independence Day if they like this one. And I do think that if you like this one, you're going to like Independence Day more.
Yeah.
And maybe that's kind of what they wanted to do. They just wanted more people to go back to the original film and see some of that, because I know it's cheesy, and my mum likes to point out that they say the line, the Americans have this thing that was like they got a hold of us in old Morse code. It's like, is there a new Morse code? I don't. When did they improve on Morse code?
Yes. They're still using Morse code 1.0. Yeah,
but yes, it's incredibly cheesy across the world.
And still full of plot holes, just like this one is.
Yep.
But things that just make no sense whatsoever.
And then again, they have an across the world scene in this one. But I sort of enjoyed this one more because it's them talking about their last attempt type thing. I felt that the finality at the end of the film worked a little better than, well, we're going to try something. If you can do it, that would be great. That's in the first one. Whereas in this one, it's like, right, we have 12 minutes. If we fail, the Earth is going to be destroyed. That's a much better bringing people together.
Succeed or fail, we're going to do it together. So that was a nice little message.
A very good. I think that guy who I believe you had something you wanted to say, the guy who becomes president. The actor of the
just president. Mr. Well, I mean, he's just typecast again in this role as generic general.
It's generic army guy number 5.
Usually, number 2. Let's not low bill.
Well, the reason I went for number 5 is because you have 1 through 4 normally, but only number 5 becomes president by the end of the film. He's the guy you least suspect. But so I felt that he was good.
I like him as an actor. He does what he does very well.
And he did a very good. Well, this is going to be the end. He did a better speech than Pullman.
I think so.
I don't understand why they didn't just give him more. William Fichtner is the guy's name. Just look him up in anything you want.
He loved him from Armageddon and Contact. Black Hawk Down, another military movie. Like I said, he does what he does very well. But so that being said, you know where you just know the character already.
Another random name. Did you know that James Woods was in this film?
Was he?
James A. Woods. So not the James Woods. This is another James Woods.
A. James Woods.
No. James A. Woods.
A. James A. Woods was in this.
So the second I saw that name, I was like, how am I going to work this one in?
Okay. Yes, I was like, wait, was he the ball?
He was Lieutenant James Ritter, who's one of the subordinates in alien technology, and one of the writers on this thing. Which, yes, this is what I wanted to say. The reason I said I thought this was well written, but what it was based on is the limitations for the script. The reason why this was well written is probably because there were 5 writers to this thing. Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin, Nicholas Wright, James A. Woods, and James Vanderbilt all did the screenplay for this. And it was the only person that didn't come up with the story of this was Vanderbilt. The other 4 came up with the story. So Yeah, and it was produced by 3 people. So there's just... I think you could say that this film is almost the definition of overproduced. And
definitely, yeah.
There's not only are there too many characters in the film, there's too many people making
too many people working on the too many creative leads.
I mean, the only way that the writing, like the actual character writing, I think came out so well was because you had 5 people. You can have people there saying, like 2 of them might just read it and go, well, no, that's not going to work. How about we do this? And you've actually got 5 people having a conversation about how conversations happen. So the actual conversation between people were good. It was the one-liners that were a little over the top.
One-liners and some of the action sequences I thought could have been written a little better, but just seemed fairly common. I don't know to me, but I want to get just to this little note that I had too, because I know how much you love romance in your films, Paul.
Yes.
Why was there this so underdeveloped romance subplot between Liam Neeson, as he is now known,
yes,
and yet to be mentioned Micah Monroe?
Yes, replacing Mae Whitman, as I really looked it up.
Okay, yeah. So that just, I mean, I wrote down here. I said I haven't seen a love story so forced and with so little chemistry since Godzilla. There's Godzilla coming back around.
Yeah.
I had as much as that is to say none investment in this love story as I did the one in Godzilla.
I've had more riding on it if it had been Will Smith's son.
I just felt no emotional
reason.
impact. There was nothing. There were no scenes that really. I mean, because we start off with her already at home, or they're already separated.
Yeah.
So there are no scenes with them together prior to the conflict.
Yeah, and
that can really establish that relationship and make you give a damn.
Yeah, we have no idea how they met. We have no idea how long they've been together, other than the fact that they are engaged.
Yeah, they're looking at houses, so obviously it's serious.
Or at least one of them is.
And one of them is, yeah.
And I felt that what they could have done was maybe make the Liam Hemsworth character actually be the older version of the son of Randy Quaid. Like, maybe he was the young kid in that. The youngest kid in the Winnebago.
Oh, no, he's doing meth in Nevada somewhere.
Well, yeah, probably. After everything you've seen and gone through. Yeah. But, I think that you needed to have that original connection to the first film so that we would have something saying, oh, they've interacted before.
Yeah.
And they haven't at all. Like,
they're both very nice looking people. I have nothing against them personally, but yeah, really, I did not feel the love with them, and I am prone to romantic inclinations. I do like a good romance in my movies, but this wasn't one of them.
I appreciate a well done one. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm.
Yeah,
I'm an
and not that. I mean, I know the main point of this film is action and thriller. But if you're going to write that in, spend some time with it, or do what the great thing that Pacific Rim did was with that story. They didn't pay off the romance. There was no real.
Not really.
Yeah, not really. They're on the piece of debris or whatever, and they hug or something like that. And it's perfect.
You can go from there in your own head. It doesn't really need to be answered on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing that I was thinking about, because as we mentioned, I think all of the returning people. So the woman who played David's ex-wife, that they seem to get back together again at the end of the first film. I'm genuinely shocked that Judd Hirsch's character didn't mention, look, you scared them away just like you scared her away again, or something like that. There was no mention whatsoever of the fact that they weren't together. And then, was David supposed to be somewhat into this other person that was introduced, the other woman who was the anthropologist or whatever?
Yeah, I was wondering, did I miss another, did I blank out for a scene where, they talked about their history or something?
There's next to no history mentioned there. The only thing is that they seem to know each other from a couple of conventions, maybe, or something, and they're in slightly opposing fields, and that's about it. I think.
And we all know those corporate conventions you just go to get drunk and get laid, so maybe that's what happened at a couple of them.
Probably, yes. All those scientist corporate places that everyone goes to, the hotbed of seedy activities.
I did have one kind of last thing to throw at you here.
Yeah,
So, for a very technologically advanced and just resource defining or like world conquering species, the species also has a very whimsical sense of irony, where they have a need to attack on July 4th.
Yes, they do.
So, what is going on there, Paul?
Yeah,
why? Like, it'd be really funny is if we do it on July 4th, again, guys. Oh my God, that's hilarious! Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
it's their Independence Day, get it? Oh, yeah, you're good.
Well, they were clearly listening to the original, summary of the previous battle. I don't know, at the beginning of the film. So they were like, okay, they think they won. I don't think so. Which is another thing, actually. This whole thing happens in one day.
Is it just one day?
One day. This happens on
Independence Day. I thought it was like
Day.
48 hours, but
no, I mean, the original film is over 3 days. This happens in one day. The beginning of it, I guess maybe 1.5, because when they're on the moon, it doesn't look like they're awake on the planet yet. But, so they're installing this thing, and then the Independence Day celebrations are going on, and then it is not nighttime again until, at least, I don't even think it reaches night.
I guess, yeah. If anyone else has proof of that, let us know. But I think you might be right there.
Yeah. So not only do they have all of these actors and all of this plot and all of this stuff they're trying to get you to watch. They're also saying, by the way, this takes less than 24 hours from arrival to dispatch, shall we say? Yeah.
So then once again, like, where was the warlord? Like, and then he gets to because they took a helicopter. They didn't take some spacecraft.
Well, they took that tug thing.
Okay,
right?
The tug thing, I guess. Yeah, I guess that can go.
I mean, it flew from
fusion or whatever. It can go. Yeah,
it seemed to fly from the moon.
It still seems sketchy how the globe trotting that was done in this, and moon to Earth traveling and all that. But okay, whatever. I'll go with it. We're 20 years away from this tech. Okay,
20 years away from that tech, assuming you have.
Well, technology. Less than 20, because it's all got to be in place and built. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had to have retroactive technology that you can pull from and all that. But I don't. There's too many things wrong with this film for us to adequately go into.
I know. I know. Like I said, I'm ripping into it. There were things I liked. It was like I alluded to earlier. It was. If you want to spell that one out.
Yeah.
I've seen worse. I've certainly seen better. I wanted more out of this sequel.
Well, my question then is, and technically you just answered it, but would you consider this an appropriate sequel to Independence Day, remembering just how cheesy and over the top it was in the 90s when Independence Day came out?
And so, it's once again, it's part of this. One of the things to. With my mind now to where I was at the age of 14 when I saw this, where the first where, hey, let's throw as much cheesiness as you can at me. I love it. I don't care. This to me didn't have as much. I mean, this was more ludicrous than cheesy.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had they like to get the landmarks and all that stuff. Yeah. And just in case you weren't aware, I did.
Eiffel Tower survived. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I did. Not fair. I did look this up just to make sure. When you're seeing the buildings fall on London, you're seeing the building from Beijing fall on London, and I have no idea why. I have no idea why from there to London, because that doesn't make sense based on where the spaceship landed. Like, why would that be the case?
It got caught on the exhaust of the ship
somehow. I guess maybe
got stuck.
And then, of course, they technically didn't destroy the White House this time. The thing is stopped just by it. Just by it, but then didn't.
Kind of ruined the backyard a little bit for the Easter egg hunt next year. But,
yeah. Just had to be in the front.
Yes. Yeah, got awfully close. But yeah, so I guess to answer, I guess it's one of the directions that could have gone. They could have obviously did go in. I can see it as a continuation. Of course, there are things that worked, but really, like I said, I don't think it has the charming campy quality that the first did.
Really.
Where this one is just more frustrating for me as far as all the plot holes and extraneous characters and way too many subplots. I didn't get as much of the fun. Whenever Jeff Goldblum was on screen, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whenever Judd Hirsch was on screen, absolutely.
And I'm really, really glad they didn't do another computer virus. I was a little worried they might be going that way.
Which, yes, still one of the main glaring questions. How did they upload that virus in the first one? Were they running Linux? Was that ship running? What is going on?
No.
Okay, yes, let's not even go there. It was one of the things. Of course, I wanted to see Will Smith in this, but it didn't happen. So I can't blame them for the movie that wasn't made.
Yes,
that's not fair.
Yes, but I will. But I will. Yeah, they didn't have the money to make that film.
Yes, they would have had to cut their effects budget in half if they got Will Smith, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I believe he was asking for about $50 million, so they decided not to go with that.
Yeah. It would not have looked as nice.
Yeah, I like that. It's like, I want $50 million to be in it. How about you die off screen in a test?
How about we give you a poster in the White House?
Yes.
Okay. A framed poster.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Alright, so if you had to give this a rating then, obviously you gave it a audible rating of nah.
Yeah.
But given our rating system, which again...
so yeah, I'll take this one if you don't mind. So we start every film out as 0.0. That is perfection. We take off points as we see fit. Small increments at first, 0.1, 0.2, all to 0.5, and then as we go past that, just essentially half points. 1, 1.5, -2. So, it's arbitrary. It's sometimes subjective, sometimes objective.
Yeah.
Bad effects, horrible acting, which, I guess can be subjective or objective.
Yeah.
In our brains, can be fairly objective. I'm going way too long on this, but essentially, we just take off hits for flaws that we find and as we see fit. It's our system; it doesn't matter, but it's how we do things here.
Yes.
So that being said, -10 is as bad as you can get without busting the scale.
Yes, which has happened once or twice.
Yes,
but anyway.
Yes, some have deserved it. Anyway, with this one, I would go with. I'm tinkering. Or kind of going back and forth between two ratings.
Okay.
I would like to give it a -4.5, but I don't think it makes it over that technical average. I'm giving it a -5.
Okay.
The only thing that would bump it over that would be Goldblum,
or if
Pullman,
or if Will Smith had been
Will Smith, then we're potentially talking a -3.5 or -4 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just middle of the road action fare with an iconic film from 20 years to tie it together. Other than that, there's nothing special, I think, about it.
Yeah, the biggest problem with this film is you have the nostalgia factor for the previous film, which you're never going to get over. And then there's the fact that now is a completely different time to 20 years ago. So it was always going to be a different film, even though it was supposed to be a sequel and in the same vein as the first. And then you run into, at least with me, the two hat problem, where I was able to enjoy the visual feast and just kind of enjoy it as a sequel of the first, but looking at it critically, it just isn't great. So I think I'm going to have to not completely echo you, but I will go for a -4.5 on this one.
Just makes it over the hump of mediocre.
Yeah, I didn't hate it by any means.
No, I didn't hate it.
And there were parts in it that were fun. But yes, there were characters that either went on too long or didn't really need to be in there. There were action beats that went on too long, and in an action film, saying that action goes on too long is saying something. Yeah. But yeah, it's...
I think the runtime, sorry to jump back in, but I think was just at 2 hours was a bit long for this movie. I would love it not love it, but I would prefer it at 140, 145.
Right.
Take out that whole Warlord storyline, or at least dump it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, just went on. I was ready for the movie to be over when it was over, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, and I wonder if in 20 years' time they're going to do a third one where...
Well, they definitely left it open, spoiler.
Yeah, and I've seen the Earth could take the fight to the...
Well, they certainly made it seem that way, and they certainly made it seem like it was happening soon. So I don't know what the plans are, but... We will find out soon enough.
Yes, I suppose
Raise some more money to get Will Smith in this next one.
Yeah, and I don't know...
I'm bringing back from the dead.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know where this is going to go or how it could possibly go.
Yeah, so, alright, that was Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes, it was. So, yes.
Do like, rate, subscribe again.
Yeah,
follow us on the Twitter.
We really appreciate it. And get a hold of us to let us know what you thought of the film, or of our review of the film, or anything.
Are we too much of a hard ass or hard asses? We need to lighten up. No, we won't. But we'll listen to you anyway.
All right. Well, I've been Paul.
I've been Brian.
See you guys.
Bye.